going on, guys? Welcome back to Everyday Struggle from the Crib, Nadeska Academics, and Wayno here. There's a long, exciting weekend on the internet. My guy Academics looks pretty exhausted right now. How are you feeling?
Me?
You look you look out of it. Wayno looks good and ready to go.
No, I'm telling you, it's been an eventful weekend. Listen, I'm just here for the ride. What's up?
Yeah, what's going on? It was a good weekend for me. This weekend was my daughter's birthday, so we threw a little shindig and all of that. We had good time. So I had a good weekend.
Yeah, okay. It kind of fucked me up. I guess yesterday that it's Mother's Day, but like I didn't see my mom. So me and my brothers, we've kind of like stayed away from my mom because of this pandemic. Like days like yesterday, you kind of get reminded of it. And other than that, normal internet fuckery. I'm always here for it.
If I would say it was normal internet fuckery this weekend, but happy belated Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Ak is right. It's definitely weird not being able to see family and friends, but we know that about 2 million people were on the internet this weekend watching 6ix9ine. So obviously he's been back home from jail. He released his first single. It's called Gooba. Did really well, of course, broke YouTube record for most views in 24 hours, over 43 million in 24 hours. I think at the moment it's over 91 million, which is pretty crazy. So his big rollout included a billboard in Times Square that read, "The King is back." And after dropping the video, he hopped on Instagram Live. That's where about 2 million people tuned in to watch him basically do a mixture of what we thought he was going to do, and he surprised me a little bit. So he was, of course, bragging and trolling, saying everyone was mad that he snitched, went to jail, came back home, and is still doing better than them. But then he also defended himself a bit, saying he was criticized for snitching, but really, they were out to get him. They were abusing the relationship with him. Take a look.
If a rat came home and did more numbers than me, I would be mad too. I would. I promise you I would be mad. If a rat came home to, like, the way I came home and did more numbers than me, I would be mad. You have every reason to be mad. I want to say that I'm sorry to my fans because, you know what? It wasn't worth it. It wasn't. And I'm going to tell you what. If there is a street code, right? If there is a street code and there's something so-called as loyalty and everything and no snitching and all of that, I get it, right? But where was the loyalty when you was sleeping with my baby mother? Where was the loyalty when you was caught on the wiretap trying to kill me? Where was the loyalty when you tried to kidnap my mother? Where was the loyalty when you was stealing millions of dollars from me? Where was that? So who broke it first? All right, I get it. Don't fight fire with fire. I'm sorry. But what did I do wrong? Be loyal to niggas that's fucking my baby moms? Be loyal to niggas that kidnap me? Beat the shit out of me on video and everything? I'm supposed to be loyal to that? No, you know what? You know what it is? Y'all don't want to accept the fact that those is all true facts. Y'all don't want to y'all understand why I snitch. Y'all understand. Y'all don't want to understand. It's not that y'all don't understand. Y'all don't want to understand.
All right, so Wayno, I know that you definitely expected some of this behavior, at least in the trolling aspect, but is this how you thought the whole rollout plan would go? Him also sort of defending himself publicly?
No. I need Academics to speak first. I need Academics to speak first.
No, Wayno is Miss Cleo shit. He about to pull out a crystal ball and predict some more shit.
Well, you thought he was going to have a whole rebrand and come out acting differently, but that's not what really went down.
Well, I thought that was the only way that he would, this fanfare would kind of happen, honestly. And when I've talked to him when he was locked up, at times he expressed that he was gonna come back on some remorseful shit. Clearly, that's changed along that timeline. And truth be told, what I've realized this weekend the most is that 6ix9ine's brand needs controversy, needs to somehow position itself as the underdog. And honestly, everybody hating on me, everybody like trying to see me lose or whatever the case is, like, yeah, that actually plays into it, no matter what on a moral side of things people may be upset about.
So look, first, there's evidence 6ix9ine is a liar. You know what I mean? If he's telling people that he's gonna come home doing all that shit. So we gotta go through a couple of things when discussing this. I think like the thing about 6ix9ine is that this nigga's playing a very dangerous game. He's playing he's playing it, but even more so than that, even more so than before. He's not remorseful, but he tried to justify all these different things about why he did what he did, instead of simply saying, I didn't want to go to jail. That's all it is. All of that, niggas sleeping with your baby mother, niggas taking money from you, None of that mattered, because when they first got him, it was said that he didn't cooperate the first time they grabbed him, right? Then they grabbed him again, and they pushed that time on him, right? When they pushed that time on him, at then that moment, then it was like, oh no, I can't do this, right? My thing with 6ix9ine is this: he's always going to have to live in a shell of himself. He's never going to be comfortable in life. To me, he looks more mad than anybody because he looks frustrated. You know, he looks frustrated. He's not comfortable. He's always going to be in a position where somebody sees him and says, oh, that's him. And now you got to bounce out from this spot to that spot to this spot. Absolutely. Because the thing about it is it's endangering his welfare. You know, fam, the nigga's a government informant. Nobody, see, the reason why he's playing a dangerous game is because who's going to beef with him? Who's really going to beef with him? You can't beef with a person that's a government informant. Let somebody say that they're going to do something to him and watch what happens. You know, I just think that it's very misleading. And my thing, the thing I want to know more than anything, academics, is this: you're a person who don't really rock with contradictions, right? This dude is he's the epitome of a walking contradiction. So I just want to know.
Break that angle down.
Break that angle down. I mean, for instance, prior to, you know, him doing everything prior to him getting locked up and everything, he was looked at as potentially a gangster. Even me and you had our little spats on you. We was like, we don't know if he's really doing this shit or not, right? Comes to find out that he might have been involved in this, down the third. Once that happens, then he plays the I'm a kid role. I'm a kid. I you know, these guys is taking advantage of me, right? Like, they took advantage of me. I'm a kid. I would never hurt a fly, this, down the third. Then we believe that he's gonna come back. He even said to you, yo, now I'm gonna try a different approach. He comes back and he's doing all the same shit that he was doing before. Even talking about up in choppers, like, come on. That's what I'm saying. This is he's a walking contradiction. This is the part that we got to look at, because what's the message he sent? There is no message for real, other than he's a selfish person, he's narcissistic, and he's a cancer. That's it. And them things eat themselves from the inside out.
So we feel this way, or you feel this way, but do you think that some of his fans, the people who were just unbothered by the whole thing, that it resonated with them, like him defending himself the way that he did?
You know what? All right. So to address Wayno's point about like it being a contradiction, I mean, I feel some similar ways like how Wayno feels. Like, yo, well, you were doing very much different things than what's going on now. But here's the thing, man, and that's the thing. He who controls the narrative tells the story, okay? And they always say dead man tells no tales. He's the only one speaking. And I mean, shit, he spoke a lot before, but still, he's setting the narrative, and the narrative says, yo, I want to put everybody in my position. I don't think he cares about, like, I think he realized he lost that street element or street audience, but he's putting every suburban kid who is really his core fan base. I've been said that. Y'all should remember me saying that way back, saying, why is he doing, like, I've told him personally, like, yo, why are you like beef with people? Look at the people at your show. They don't care if you're a street or not. He's appealing to them. He's putting everybody in his perspective, or he's putting them in his shoes and saying, yo, if they did this to your baby mama, they threatened your mom, they kidnapped you, they robbed you, what would you do? And what you're realizing is that, yo, hip-hop is just kind of spans so far outside the streets that, man, all of these, like, morals that some people are shocked that, like, yo, oh, my God, I can't believe he still has a career. Like, that's been out of here.
But it's not a moral thing, though. That's why I'm looking at it, because the thing is that nobody expected him to hold anything down. This is the thing. Nobody expected him to hold anything down. I didn't expect him to stay in prison and none of that. What's happening now is this. Again, now he's just going, yo, he's a user. He's a manipulative user, and the shit that he's doing is more dangerous than it's ever been. And the reason why it's more dangerous than it's ever been is because, yeah, he's speaking to these suburban kids, but now he has them thinking that type of shit is cool. And it's beyond a snitching shit, but look at this. Man, listen, when you're an informant, the people who take the information to FBI, they don't respect you. The police don't respect you. If you at Complex, if a motherfucker say that I'm pretty sure we don't deal with this, but I'm pretty sure if you take a longer lunch break than the next person and you go tell a supervisor, they don't respect you. So those type of people that live in a space where they give information, they're already not respected. That has nothing solely do with the comment. It's not about the snitching shit. It's
So
about the game that he's playing. It's about the game that he's playing.
Let me interject and then ask, which again, I think in the questions you're asking, I would then ask you, when do you think he felt like he was respected? So why should he care about it? So again, I'm just playing devil's advocate. There is no defense for certain stuff. But like, I don't even see, I feel like right now, right? I think this is the biggest thing going on.
What?
Meek Mill and others, and to be honest, there's 80% outrage is fueling this. He broke Eminem's record.
Why does it have to be considered? Why does it have to be considered outrage, though? That's what I want to know. Like, why?
What I mean outrage is that the people, like the best way, like everyone's like, oh my God, I can't believe he's this big. He's this big because everybody's talking about it. You're sharing your huge platform. All of these, I mean, seriously, everyone.
I don't think
the only way if people really don't like the kid or like him for whatever he's doing, let me stop calling him kid. He's 24.
Yeah,
but if you don't like him, entertainers or even people who aren't fond of what he's doing have to ignore him. And I think these things, it plays. He's not looking for respect. He's looking to garner the ultimate amount of attention that is going to somehow translate.
He's a whore. That's what I'm saying. He's an attention whore. He's like, okay,
I'll give you that.
All right, he's an attention whore, and he'll do anything for it. And that's what I'm saying. That's why it's a dangerous game you playing, because while you're saying all of this, there is kids that are watching you. This is the thing, right? For everything that's been said, the nigga never said, yo, I just didn't want to go to jail. He's trying to use all these things as an excuse as to do what he did. He did what he did because that's what he wanted to do. All this shit, even look at his baby moms. So, okay, if she was fucking with other people, was he treating the best he could have been treating her? If she is reports that he was beating on her, this nigga's one of the worst people we've ever seen. The thing about this is this: everybody wants to see it. You want to know why everybody wants to see it? Because it's the biggest story. This shit is the biggest story, just as big as BMF, without the money or the drugs.
Yeah, so that's a good point. And Snoop was getting pissed off because he feels like the more we watch, the more we tune in, the more we talk about it, we're going to encourage him to do it. Because like you guys said, he's seeking attention. So Ak mentioned Meek before. Of course, Meek has been very vocal about this before. And before 6ix9ine went on live, he hopped on Twitter and said, I hope that Rat's going live to apologize to the people he told on or the victim. Went on to reference, a rat killing Nipsey. So 6ix9ine, of course, responded to this saying, imagine having a newborn baby come into the world and be pressed about a Mexican with rainbow hair. So Meek eventually apologized. But here's the thing. If he loves the controversy and loves the attention, but you think no one's really going to beef with him because it's dangerous, but people like Meek might respond, what's going to keep people tuning in? Of course, like he broke the records and he's proud of it, but everyone's going to tune in for the first episode of a train wreck, right? Like, how is he going to keep people's attention moving forward then?
Clowns get a lot of headlines, man. This is the thing, right? There is no ignoring it. And the thing, what I want people to stop thinking, is this: if you speak about something or you say that you disagree with something, that you're actually mad. See, this is the picture that he's trying to paint into people's heads, is that they're actually mad about him because he's doing something. It's not about being mad. Everybody has the right to say whatever the fuck they want to say about whatever's going on. The thing about it is that he's just playing a dangerous game when it comes to these children, and that's the only that's how it goes, right? Like, no, I don't expect 6ix9ine to be no advocate. And I told you and academics, I believe that he was going to do the same thing because that's the only thing that worked for him. 6ix9ine is not talented enough to make a fucking remorseful song. Imagine that. Does he have the skill set? That's good. You've been a journalist for years. You think he got the skill set to make a fucking song about being remorseful? He's not being remorseful because he don't give a fuck. And that's what nobody's not realizing. All these fans that totally support him, he don't give a fuck about them neither. He just gives a fuck about where he can get out the situation. And that's what he's always been, and that's what he will continue to be.
I'll say this, or I'll start with the Meek point first. I agree with a lot of what Meek is saying. By the way, I think, and I agree with Wayno to some extent too, when he says not everyone who speaks up is hating. First of all, Meek has to say something. Like, Meek's establishment is under attack with him, this guy even being this popular. Let's be honest.
Absolutely.
Like, I mean, if you represent something that's the streets and you're pretty much the guy who's like carrying the torch, you're kind of like, that's been your career. And even though you're doing a lot of positive things in prison reform, someone else comes out and basically like just sticks the middle finger up and says, this whole shit is fake. You could just do it this way. You kind of have to hold it down for your demographic. That's number one. So I agree with Meek even speaking, right? I agree with him speaking up. Even though I warned 6ix9ine thrives off this. So you say your piece one time, you keep this up, he's gonna just spin this into he's an underdog. Trust me. The second thing is that I don't get the Nipsey Hussle. Like he's tried this like 3 times to compare like whatever 6ix9ine did, 6ix9ine snitch, and he compared it to Nipsey's death. I just think that's a false equivalency, you know?
It's not
like
it's all right, go ahead, because I'm gonna
okay.
elaborate on that. Go ahead.
So from what I know, and I think what a lot of people know about the circumstances around Nipsey's death, he got killed by someone who felt he was disrespected. And that's the big overall thing, right? Some guy, and again, maybe a guy was a rat, whatever the case is, but it's a man thing. The dude felt disrespected. They're both in a gang. That's not like, it's not like, oh, snitches are killers. You get, like, you think, no, that's the point he was trying to make. It's the same point, and this is going to sound very wild. I got to preface it, but it's the same point like if Donald Trump says, yo, well, this illegal immigrant would have killed someone if we had deported him. Bro, like you're trying to almost make it seem like being, no, I'm serious. Like, so I don't get the Nipsey angle. I get everything else Meek is saying. I think because Meek, like, it's kind of like, I've been shocked that Meek is saying some shit that genuinely, if you sit back and argue, he has a point, and everybody's looking at Meek like, yo, we don't want to hear you. Because, or not everybody, but a lot of people. The numbers are not spitting.
But the numbers, listen, the numbers is gonna be in his favor because just, bro, it's like I don't give a fuck what type of song he put out. He was gonna have the top numbers of anything. Like, but that doesn't mean that it's like, even with the music, right? Because I feel like there's a rebellion, right? I feel like there's a rebellion. I feel like the rebellion is a person like a Meek stepping up to say something regarding all right, now the shit with the Nipsey shit, right? What he's saying is the caliber of person. The caliber of person who will cooperate with the government is a person who creates a heinous act, right? Who took a legend away. That's the point that he's trying to make. So again, when we talking about now, they're not in the same situation. I don't even know what the person who allegedly murdered Nipsey, what they allegedly snitched for. I'm just saying that he's put into a box because he is a rat. So now that 6ix9ine has this rat thing over his head or whatever, he's just saying the caliber of person. Not that he's gonna kill somebody, but that he's just a bad person. Right?
I feel like, okay, I get that, but I feel like it's kind of unfair to tie Nipsey's death in there. You know, because that tugs.
But he said he's speaking out. He said he's speaking out of emotion. You know what I mean? Right. He did say that he's speaking out of emotion. So that's just an emotional thing that he's saying, and I'm not mad at him for saying that only for the mere fact of 6ix9ine. And I said this prior to, you know, him coming home when we had the episode where we was talking about what he's going to do, is that he's unpredictable. He's unpredictable, and I don't think he has no friends or no alliances.
Yeah, I think past. Sorry, Wayno, just past the Nipsey point, you know what I mean? I think, was it you just said that someone like Meek has to respond in this situation because you feel like it's will be, because he did open up saying, like, if you've been a stand-up guy your whole life and you see a kid like me come through and do better numbers, you're gonna be mad. But at what point do people like Meek have to stop engaging, like Snoop said, and giving it more attention? Like, I wonder how many of those 2 million people who tuned in were people who were just watching just to see what happened, and people who are truly fans. You know what I mean? It's like supporting it, although you don't want to support it.
And let's be clear. Let's be clear. Right now, we are seeing people make decisions. Everyone has to make a decision about him. And again,
what you mean by that?
The decision is, number one, well, there's many decisions. Artists have to make a decision. Will they ever work with him? I feel like everyone has to, anyone with a platform, are you going to cover him? Like, I really think that, like, it was very interesting when I saw Snoop get at Elliot Wilson, because he said, yo, Elliot Wilson, yo, you're an OG journalist. And some of the things and some of the rooms you've been in, like, it's kind of like just interesting that you'd even entertain this. Like, it felt like Snoop was almost saying, yo, as someone even in the media who comes from a certain cloth, you shouldn't even be the person who's like covering this all the way. I do think, by the way, I don't think any radio programmers is going to add 6ix9ine. I don't think no PDs are adding 6ix9ine. I think they're making a choice. I think the media got to make a choice too, because honestly, I think 6ix9ine knows how to work. He knows how to make the most salacious, most clickable shit that media loves. Let's keep it 1,000. because I could always
Of course,
admit
nigga, we know why he on your page
Hold
a
on. No, I
thousand
could
times.
admit
You
my
know it's gonna
bullshit.
garner the hits. You know it's gonna garner the hits.
I could admit my bullshit, but everybody got to admit theirs.
Okay.
He basically stirs it up like Donald Trump. He basically creates the bullshit you gotta see. And while I see artists making their stance and say, yo, I would never work with this and third, I understand why you would see like some of the by the way, he's not getting no playlisting, he's not getting no radio. The only thing that's really keeping him and driving him to break these records is media. Let's be honest. And of course, like if artists keep like talking about it, but that was the first.
And the theatrics. Like, do you think the Times Square billboard was even a look since no one's out in Times Square? This is the deadest Times Square has been.
Absolutely, it's a look. It's definitely a look because you know it's going viral because people are like, oh my god, look at that. It's just a wow factor. Everything is a wow factor. But I also feel like he's teeter-totter on the line. Even when he's talking this number shit and this down the third, I feel like he low key. And I'm not trying to start nothing by no means, but I think he low key trying to say like even the Drake. When he's talking that number shit. Because this the thing is like, nobody's not tuning in for the music. Even with him having the #1 record, because I was looking at it, like, the shit is fucking, in Portugal, it's like number 34, but in the US, it's #1. In France, it's #4. The thing is that people is tuning in just to see the shock value of it. Be honest, yo. That's a good record. Act you a DJ. That's a good record.
I think it's a cool record. I don't think
it's a cool record. All right,
I think it's a cool record.
All right, now look. Now we and a lot of people, even for yourself, act when we talk about rap, you talk about how you like content and music, and you like niggas that you don't keep certain energies and all that. Act, come on, up in 100 choppers. We don't fight. What type of? This is what I'm saying. He
hold on. It's all right. So even with this conversation, and I think we should establish this before. So I think there's pretty much two ways you could always go with 6ix9ine. It's like, are we trying to explain the numbers and just talking music, or are we talking morals? Because when it comes, I don't think to me. Hold on.
Is he keeping the same energy? Like, who he is?
Say this. I'll say he apologized to two people. He apologized to the family of his fans. He didn't apologize to any of the families of anybody that was hurt. He didn't apologize to the families of anyone who went to jail. Also didn't apologize clearly to anyone who went to jail. So, you know, if you're thinking about what on a moral compass type of thing, what he should be doing is probably not rapping about some of the stuff he's rapping about. And that's why I think it does lead him back to the ultimate brag, which is the numbers. He can't brag any other way. You get me?
Bro,
but I didn't think that certain lines was gonna be on it. But shit, I didn't think also in the last couple lines he would be as bold to say, yo, I ratted and I came home to a big bag. I mean, that's the problem. That's the biggest problem. That's the biggest problem because why
using money? I'm gonna tell you, because he's using money to justify actions. So that's what I'm saying. So when you're with all of this, how this is going, what is he leading? Whatever his fan base is, what is he leading them to? If you're using money to justify actions, then that means money trumps anything in life. You'll put your mom and your family in a dangerous position. Every time somebody sees him living in a house, he's gonna have to get up and go. He has to live on the run. He's home, but he's basically on the run. He can never have regular human function. So it's worth the money. That's what I'm saying. So what message are you sending? It's worth the money to be that type of person?
I don't think he's gonna be on a run, honestly, past probation. Like, he has to be like probably within certain places in New York that's government and probation approved. Other than that, like, I'm pretty sure he has no problem going in Midwest, like to some ranch. I'm seriously, like, I mean, he's making a killing. But
you don't feel like it was a little bit careless how easily that girl got the video of him this weekend?
I think it was careless that if you know you're probably the most wanted person in America, that's a criminal, I guess, if that makes sense, that you go on your back porch to like take a selfie with a stack of cash. Yeah, that was definitely irresponsible. I mean, and also, here's the thing too, like, as much as, you know, and yeah, he is someone who, you know, I communicate with, but you can't feel bad for him for that. Like, again, you remember when you just say he signed up for certain shit? Nigga, you told, like, we can't feel bad for you when your address is leaked and shit like that, because to be honest, it comes with it. You could have been in witness protection. You should have been in witness protection and change your identity and just like you'll be Bob.
We've been talking about all the good things that's happened, all the upsides that's happened for him since he's come home, the money and the numbers and all of that. There's a lot of bad things that come with there's a lot of bad consequences that come with being an informant and all of that. So my thing is again, he makes decisions. He's a decision maker, so it seems. I hope that he could stand the way he has to live for the rest of his life. Because all of that, like, now, if something was to ever happen to him, is all the money that he ever made worth that? No. And I'm not, and the thing is this, it's simple, man. All of that, your mother, they fucking my baby mother, they was trying to set my mother up, all of that. You was portraying to be a street nigga. When shit like that happens to street niggas, you got to do something. You know what I mean? You have to do something. That's just how it goes, and that's what he signed up for. So now that all that's out the way, if something happens going forward, he got to be able to live with his decisions. And I hope all that money is worth it for him.
We're getting to this new age, and we're gonna see it like in the next decade pretty much get even worse. Like, we're getting to realize like that demographic that he controls, they don't give a fuck about anything else that other people care about. You get me? Like, and I mean, like, we saw a glimpse and trace of this, maybe not in terms of like just straight up hardcore, I'm on the stand pointing people out type of shit, but like all these like people who thought they knew hip hop in the streets, they were very shocked when people said, "Wait, Drake got a ghostwriter? So what?" Like you know what I mean? There's many of these.
Yeah,
like,
you're not gonna cut no acting. You're not gonna. I'm not gonna let you do that.
No,
I'm not gonna let you do that.
Yo, hear what I'm saying? Hear what I'm saying?
What?
Hear what I'm saying?
What?
There's been these certain like almost golden rules of hip hop, and golden rules that are almost tied to the streets. That, like, if we be honest now, if the biggest thing, if you only care about numbers, again, most of these people, they don't care about respect. If you only care about numbers, you would probably do exactly what 6ix9ine is doing. Just do everything for attention, everything that's self-interested, and to be honest, go against every other thing that people held sacred.
As a self-proclaimed Drake stan, I'm disgusted with you bringing that up regarding 6ix9ine.
Nah, bro. I'm telling you,
that's crazy.
Yo, Wayno,
we've
talked about so many things.
Can we get an extra 5 minutes today? Wait. Can we get an extra 5? Let's get some extra time in.
Now, we've talked about so many things in hip hop, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't think it led to this, I don't know. Yo,
you saying that led to that?
Bro, the core fan base. People thought if you didn't appease that core
that little
fan
membership
base,
you got, that hip hop little membership you got in your pocket, you gotta give up for the rest of the week, academics. That did not lead.
This is an easy point.
No, bro.
Yo, the people who don't
DM this nigga and tell him the accent was wrong.
Hold on, let me make the point.
My fault. Go ahead.
The people who don't respect a lot of things that hip hop or quote unquote, hip hop and the streets are very closely tied or used to. That's what we thought. The people that don't respect those things, I think this is just the most extreme version. Yeah, they didn't respect that. They didn't respect other stuff that people looked at like, yo, whoa, this is going on in hip hop. Like dudes doing certain things. Like I know hip hop was homophobic. Let's be very honest. Then people started liking rappers who are acting gay. Like, let's be very honest. A lot of people are very shocked about like, whoa, this can't be hip hop. This is the most extreme example. One of the big things is, hip hop, we hate snitches. Snitches gets now. The guy just told he's gonna be one of the biggest rappers, so he just showed.
You know, you sound like that's real quick. You sound like academics. You sound just like that nigga. I promise you, brother.
No,
you sound just like him.
The only thing I've heard everything that you said today, and I've heard everything that everyone said, and sometimes a lot of people are making good points, but no one actually addresses the fact that really hip hop today, which this is why I look at people when they're gauging hip hop and say, how are you gauging it? It's determined by the little 16-year-old white kid. Let's be very honest. They're making whatever popular. They're the reason we just had a whole episode on
popularity and hip hop culture is two different things.
Yeah, exactly. How is it sustainable? And you just said a lot right now. Just if you're talking about people like Young Thug wearing dresses, someone like Young Thug who's at the core of the culture, who's from the streets, who's respected, comparing him to 6ix9ine.
At first, and the controversy around that.
And I understand the point that you're trying to make. I'm just saying, I don't think
people are outraged and even just like shocked that quote unquote people would allow that to happen. Of course, people found out that Thug's a real nigga. Come on, I was not trying to this stuff. I'm just talking about the people who support that. There's the fan base that just don't give a fuck. And again,
I get it, but how does he sustain this? Like I said, like there is that fan base.
I'm not gonna lie.
Obviously, you don't care, and when other people tune out because they get sick of watching the bullshit, how is he gonna sustain? You guys said the music isn't good.
Hey,
what controversies?
You know what? I don't want to diss. Let me real quick. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? because everybody says, you know, these 16-year-old little white kids. There's tons of 16-year-old white kids who ain't rocking with this type of shit. So let's not forget about them. You know what I mean? Let's not forget about them. So I don't want to reduce it to just that. Him, he's the biggest attention getter. He ain't the biggest rapper. How's he the biggest rapper? He's not, because his song is number one that makes him the biggest rapper, or he's just the biggest attention getter. He's just getting attention based on his story. If he don't have the same, well, you're a numbers person, academics. You're a numbers person. So
what I'm trying to tell you is that the numbers is going to be somewhat transferable to the streams and the music sales.
I understand that. I'm just saying, you're a numbers. You're a numbers guy, right? So when you speak about this a lot when it comes to numbers. A lot of the numbers reflect maybe shock value, maybe lackluster promotion, etc. This is just a fucking tirade, bro. The movie It made like $90 million. It was a fucking movie about a clown. It made like $90 million in a weekend. So why the fuck can't he get 2 million viewers in a day? He's a fucking clown. He's parading. He's making a show of it, and that's why the numbers are reflecting that. It's not because he's the number one rapper. And I don't want that line to get blurred. That's it. I don't want that line to get blurred because I don't want it. He's not in the stratosphere of an artist of a fucking Drake or even a Meek when it comes to rapping. But just because he can get a bunch of fucking hits, that makes him the top rapper.
It goes out in the history book that he broke M's record. Like, you get me? So it's hard to, like, I know you said that fine line, and maybe to people who are within the culture that kind of know it for what it is and know what brings, like, the masses, but maybe that doesn't move the needle. We could, like, differentiate. But to be honest, right now he does seem like one of the biggest rappers. And if he drops another song and that song does good, what I'm saying is that I get what you're saying because I agree. I don't think 90 million people went to watch that video and listen to that song because it's a, like, amazing song. They're tuned into the controversy, and this happens to be the soundtrack. What I'm saying is that as long as he continues to create some attention, it seems like people, because that's what he did before, even though maybe those songs were hotter, it seems like people will also listen to the music. And as long as that continues to happen, maybe you can call it a facade or whatever it is, he's going to seem like a artist that is really succeeding just even musically. Okay?
To some people. Okay, so we have to, unfortunately, because we can't do our full, like, 45 minutes, we got to wrap up. But yeah, I was reading an interesting article the other day about how we will look back at this pandemic once it's over. Obviously, this is like a once in 100-year event. It's like changed people's lives. People are dying, losing jobs. They said for, like, frontline workers, this is going to be one of the most traumatic, like, PTSD level, you know, things for them. And for a lot of people like us who have the luxury of, like, working from home and, you know, being okay, it's probably going to end up just being sort of a blur in our memory. So right now, this feels like the biggest moment ever, but curious to see, like I said, in hip hop history, if really we're going to look back in 5-10 years and talk about this record breaking moment, or if it'll just be sort of a blur, like a kid who was going crazy for attention. But we don't know. We don't know where the show is going to continue. So let's see. I'm sure he's only getting started.
I ain't gonna lie, man. This shit's like Walking Dead, man. Walking Dead been on for 8 seasons, and every time I watch it, I'm like, yeah, this gotta be the last season. Let's find another angle. I thought this shit was over like 3 years ago. Like, and I'm like, all right, he got locked up. You know, hopefully he can come home and just, like, spend time with his family at some time. He come back and it's like season 3, we back on. It's like, this shit's crazy.
It's nuts, man.
Wow, man.
All right, so we don't have time really to do any more topics, but real quick, the Jill Scott and Erykah Badu versus did happen over the weekend, but we talk about it a little bit. It was more just vibes than like a battle, which was cool. And then we want to say also, you know, rest in peace to Andre Harrell. So obviously he's a famed music executive. He died on Friday at the age of 59. So he was a former vice president of Def Jam. He founded Uptown Records. He was a mentor to Diddy. He signed people like Mary J. Blige and Jodeci. Just a legend in our industry. So want to pay our respects.
Yeah, rest in peace to Andre Harrell. One of the many inspirations I had to get in the game. You know, him, Diddy, Dame, Irv Gotti, all those guys. But rest in peace, Andre Harrell. Bro.
Yeah, definitely rest in peace to him. Again, I know you said that thing about will this whole thing be like a memory or like a blur. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like I think I remember, like, even, you know, some of our biggest announcements are coming, like that announcement came through, like DJ D Nice, like he announced it, or at least a lot of people found out about it then, like while he was on live. So, you know, you kind of remember those type of moments, like where were you when you found out these things happened? So you know, I rest in peace to him, and you know, I could imagine what Diddy and other people who definitely loved him are going through.
All right, y'all. Thank you guys for watching Everyday Struggle. We'll be back here tomorrow, hopefully not with too much more 6ix9ine. Have a nice day.
If you're looking for that, for 6ix9ine, he's on Academics page, y'all.